just got to the lounge. They've got a really nice spread of food, but I'm not hungry. Usually, even when I'm not hungry, I try to capitalize on the whole experience and eat everything that is available. But on this occasion, for some reason, I'm not feeling it. Probably because I've only had a few hours sleep, but anyway, not too fast. But I do have my nice cup of coffee, and that's all I need. So what I'm going to do now is I've got about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before my flight, which is plenty of time to get on with some real work, because I won't be working for the next 24, 40 hours. I'll be totally unavailable. So I'm going to just try and, bang out as much as I can and make significant progress. So let's do that.
I know they waiting on me. I know they waiting on me. The world is waiting on me. The world is waiting on me. Yeah, I know they waiting on me.
Okay, let me give you a brief glimpse into what I'm working on. I'll show you something real quick. Okay, so this is where I spend most of my time. Now, as the CEO or the brand owner or the founder, it's very important that I have a very high level, clear overview of all the different moving parts of the business. So what I do every single Monday is I look at the weekly numbers, so the weekly number tracking. So let me just get this screen unblurred. Okay, it's not working. But anyway, these are the metrics I cover on a weekly basis. So the revenue, Facebook spend, email revenue, blah blah blah. And just by looking at all of these numbers, I know in a snapshot exactly what the health of the business is like. So for example, in the last week 37, our revenue is down by $6,000. We only made about 24k, whereas in the previous week it was 30k, and in the other week and in the week prior to that it was 39k. So there's clearly something going on, but at the same time our Facebook spend is a lot less. We only spent $8,000 in the last week, whereas 2 weeks ago we spent 13k. So what I try and do is I look at this, I really try to dissect, okay, what's happening, and then just by looking at this simple spreadsheet that one of my team members puts together, I know exactly where to hone in. And do I speak to the Facebook guy, do I speak to my operations manager, and basically find out what we can do to get back on track. Or maybe there's some context behind this that I don't fully understand or grasp, but it's very important that you know all of these key metrics. I call these my critical numbers, because these are really the only numbers that matter. The revenue, the conversion rate, your profit, the number of sessions, your ad spend, your MER, your marketing efficiency ratio, which is the ad spend divided by the total revenue. You want to make sure that's maximum 50%, 55% at the most. You don't really want to be spending more than half of your revenue on ads, because that can really eat into your margins. So this is what I track. Every business should have their own critical numbers. These are my critical numbers, and I would imagine these are the same numbers almost all e-commerce brand owners should be tracking.
Now you know, that's how it go. I gotta pack my bag, it's time to hit the dough. I'm out for show, fresh off the ropes. I gotta grab a bag of yo, I'm gone and ghost. Now you know, that's how it go. I gotta pack my bag, it's time to hit the dough.
Alright, so there's about 1 hour left before our plane lands in London, and I wanted to just share some thoughts, reflections, musings, ponderings, call it whatever you want, because right now I'm on a flight to London and I'm flying business class, and I was just thinking to myself that I'm flying business class, and I used to walk past all those business class, first class seats, and I always used to think, what do these people do that allows them to have or buy a business class seat? And for much of my life, I genuinely thought that business class just wasn't for me. Like, I'll never be able to fly. I'll never be able to experience what it's like to sit, upstairs or at the front of the plane, where you can have a seat that lies flat and you get this concierge service, blah 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 blah. I honestly thought, okay, cool. And by that, I don't mean it wasn't for me. I just thought that's not something I will ever be able to experience, because I'm not cut that way, and the way I'm from, I grew up poor. It wasn't something that we aspired towards, really. All we cared about was feeding ourselves and making sure the rent was covered. And then something happened when I started my own e-commerce business. And what happened was my internal environment, the way I saw the world shifted. And I started reading books on wealth creation, on enterprise, on mindset, on, law of attraction. And I started to perceive the world differently. So much so that whereas before I would walk past, business class seats and I'd see people driving nice cars or living in nice houses, and I would think, great, that's for them, and I'm comfortable where I am. I don't really care about that. I'm not someone who's going to aspire to that. I'm not destined to experience those kinds of things. What happened was I started to feel agitated. I started to feel like, hold on, why can they do it and I can't? What's so special about them that has allowed them to experience these things that I'm not experiencing? And I started to feel real uncomfortable, some real discomfort about not having this. It wasn't jealousy, by the way. I want to make it abundantly clear. It wasn't jealousy. It was more confusion. It was more like there is nothing particularly special about them as human beings that has allowed them to do that more than me. So I think that was the beginning of the journey, and every person who's made it in life, every person I've spoken to who's made it, they all go through this kind of process of agitation, internal discomfort of, hold on, why can't that be me? Why can't I do that? Why are they able to experience or get that or buy that and I can't? And you have to go through that process in order to actually get on that side where you are experiencing those things that you were previously unable to experience. And now here I am, and it feels very normal, it feels very comfortable, me being able to do these things. And you watching this video, you might think, hold on, maybe business class ain't for me, maybe, driving a nice car or living in a nice house or having a nice business, whatever it is. These things are for people on the internet. These things are for people on YouTube or on Instagram. And I want to tell you, no, it's actually a very critical part of the process where you do kind of watch these people and you think, hold on, that could one day be me. Maybe the next time you board a flight and you walk past those business class and first class seats and you make your way to economy, ask yourself, why are they sat there and not me? Look those people sat in those fancy seats in the eye and just see what's so special about them. And the answer is nothing. There's nothing special about them. There's nothing special about me. It's just that they have changed their internal environment where they have made it incumbent upon themselves that this is the way I fly. This is the way I do things. And when you kind of change your internal environment, then your outside environment, your ability to buy these seats, your ability to experience these, to have these rich experiences will eventually catch up. Your external environment and your internal environment will reach alignment. You will never achieve anything externally that your internal environment feels like it doesn't deserve. I repeat, you will never achieve anything that you yourself deep down think you don't deserve. You have to believe that this is the way things are meant to be. Like, I will one day be rich. I will one day have abundant wealth. I will one day have that amazing experience or that amazing relationship. Once you believe that in your heart of hearts, even though you might feel a bit delusional even thinking this, you have to believe it in your heart of hearts, because it's only then that you can actually take those steps towards achieving those things.
Nobody out here do it like me. Ain't nobody out here winning like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Just like me, like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me.
Alright guys, I use Klaviyo. I spent over $1,000 a month for the service. It's fantastic. It worked like magic. But one other brand, or one other company rather, is Attentive. And they are a Klaviyo competitor. They do both SMS and email. I'm now here with Dom, and Dom works for Attentive. And I just want to hear from him. Why would someone use Attentive over Klaviyo, and what would be the logic behind, say, using email for Klaviyo and Attentive for SMS, and demarcating those two services across two different software providers?
Why people tend to choose Attentive as an SS provider is we've been doing it since 2016, so we've fell on our face multiple times. So we've learned all the best practices, all the best tools, best ways to market to the right people. Klaviyo have done email, they're amazing at email, but they've only recently moved into SMS, so they're kind of learning the process where we've already got it built in. We already know all the flaws, all the best ways to target people. So a lot of people are choosing to use Klaviyo as an ESP and then integrate Attentive over, so they have the best of both worlds. So it allows them to utilize Klaviyo's amazing email skills and utilize Attentive's amazing SMS skills. And then the way Attentive works slightly differently from a lot of brands is we have a dedicated team that will guide you through step by step. So obviously we've been doing it for a while, so that allows us to know everything that works and what doesn't work.
Oh, let me tell you, the name is Luke Kane. Call me.
All right, I'm here with Hassan. He's one of our students. You've been with us since when?
Since November last year.
Yeah, so almost a year now. I'm at the conference of the Ecommerce Conference, or the exhibition, call it whatever you want. And he's come out to meet me. He's seizing the opportunity of me being in London, and I'm happy to meet our students and who are willing to make the effort. And that's the thing, man. You're always willing to make the effort. You're not expecting me to take you to the water and make you drink it. What I expect is meet me halfway, and I'll meet you halfway. And I love that about you, bro. What we'll do is we'll dive into his business. He's got a toy product which he launched about 2 months ago, and we're going to try and make sure that the next quarter, which is the biggest quarter for gifting for kids, really is as profitable as possible for him. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that now.
Bears and gorillas, even orangutans. The lions and the monkeys all speaking my slang. We all paper chasers with a different disguise on.
All three of your companies are 8-figure, 9-figure brands. What about a much smaller brand? I've got a brand that does around $3 million a year. I bootstrapped it. I'm not VC backed, so I count every single penny.
Right.
And when I look at my team spend, all I focus on strictly is ROAS, because I'm counting every single dollar. And you're talking about brand marketing. That makes sense. It makes intuitive sense, and I love it. But I just can't fathom how I can withstand a drop in our conversions, or see an increase in our CPA, or allocate budget towards reach and impressions when I'm like, hold on, this is unprofitable. Our lifetime value is about 3 or 4 purchases. So I've got to make a profit fairly soon after I spend money on ads. So I'm trying to bridge that gap.
When you're a small business, especially if it's a small business that you're bootstrapping and you're spending your food budget essentially,
Exactly.
it's a different. You're really in the guerrilla marketing phase there, right? And so that type of brand marketing, I mean, you sort of heard the conversation from Avado on stage around, we concocted this brand campaign with Ludacris. We spent a year planning it, and they're still nervous about how it's going to perform. So my advice for the smaller business side is to go after more of a guerrilla marketing campaign. And I would come back to what Vivian said on stage from Clorox around influencer, but don't go the big influencer route. Go find loads and loads of smaller to medium audience influencers and just contact them yourself. Lean into things like organic social, self-promote on LinkedIn. There's a guy that I know in New York who runs a small packaging business, and he literally goes and shoots these almost vlog-style packaging unboxings where he'll go and open, Apple's new iPhone packaging, and he just publishes them to his Instagram, his LinkedIn. So that type of guerrilla marketing is a lot of work, but it doesn't really cost you anything. And so even if it yields a very small revenue result, you're out there authentically pushing your brand in the market. So that's one piece of advice. I would also say, again, that's where TikTok can be really useful, because you can go in with a very low budget piece of content. It can be shot with your phone. It can be your mom, reviewing your product. Yeah. Anything can go viral on TikTok. And the advice you'll hear from any TikTok expert is to have them shoot or to produce as many little pieces of content as possible and test, 10, 15, 20 a day or more in some cases.
Just one last question. For someone that might be looking to exit their brand, which I plan to in the next quarter or two, would you have a different strategy? Because I'm just trying to go hard on profitability right now, and I'm not thinking too long term. This time next year, I won't be holding on to my brand. What would be the single biggest focus or shift in strategy?
I mean, if you're looking to exit, you're going to typically be getting a multiple on EBITDA, so profitability is the right focus. I would probably also look at, if you're planning to sell, actually a completely different answer, which is to make sure that all your finances and everything else are very tidy and in order. Because if you're trying to sell the business, the easier you can make it for a small business acquirer, they want something that's going to be very easy to come in, have your plan for growth dialed in, have your finance stuff dialed in. So
thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, man.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, that was a whirlwind of a trip. I'm now back at my home in Dubai, and it was an amazing trip. I feel rejuvenated. I got to meet, some real big ballers, people doing significantly bigger numbers than I am. And really, that's how you grow. You grow by speaking to and surrounding yourself with people who are 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 steps ahead of you. That's how you grow. And that's how you can really just accelerate your progress, because you really get to see what's possible possible, what's out there. And that's what this trip to London has provided me with. And I hope by being in my community, if you're interested, you can actually be around like-minded people who can pull you along, who might be 1-2 steps ahead of you. And that's how you grow. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Until next time, guys, hit like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.
Found green guys, that's why I got my zone. Jackson and Franklin, frankly, I don't like.